Hello reading addicts and welcome. As you probably know, I'm on my travels and today I'm in a town called Consuegra. You might wonder why I'm here telling you about it. Maybe if I give you the town's full name, you'll have a better clue of why I'm here. The place is called Consuegra de la Mancha, and if that seems familiar to you, it's because the novel Don Quixote is partly set here. Of course, Don Quixote de la Mancha is from this area in the novel, and if you just look behind me on the hill, you can see the windmills that he tilted at, chasing up the hill, thinking that he was fighting giants, to discover that all it was windmills after all. Author Miguel de Cervantes was actually born near Madrid, which is just north of here, in the year 1547, and the novel Don Quixote de la Mancha was published in two parts. The first part of the novel was published in 1605, the second half in 1615, and it's thought to be the first Western novel ever written. I am Don Quixote de la Mancha and I will fight you at these windmills. Despite Cervantes being born in the 1500s and Don Quixote being released in the 1600s, these windmills were in use until the 1980s, all 12 of them, when they were finally retired. At that stage, all of them were restored and each of them was given a unique name from the novel. Behind the windmills you can see Castillo Consuegra. That's the castle in this area, which was gifted in 1183. There's no more information before that. My guess is that it was a Moorish castle from when the Moors, or as we know them today, the Arabs in North Africa, ruled over the whole of the Iberian Peninsula, eventually driven back by the Crusades. The castle itself also features in the novel. As you drive into the area, all you can see on the hill is the castle and this line of windmills. It's easy to see why Don Quixote might have thought they were giants. It makes quite a remarkable sight. The plot of Don Quixote de la Mancha revolves around the adventures of the very lowest nobility here in Spain, a hidalgo. So hidalgos are people who have nobility, but they have no land or presence or money, just a noble name that they can hand down to their children. Don Quixote's real name is Alonso Mijano, and he reads so many chivalrous novels that he decides that he's going to become chivalrous himself, and he becomes a knight-errant, or a caballero andante. I do apologise for my Spanish pronunciations. He decides he's going to revive chivalry and save his nation under the name Don Quixote de la Mancha. The novel itself is hugely influential, as well as being thought to be one of the first Western novels ever written. It also directly gave us the term tilting at windmills, which is a reference to somebody who is fighting an invisible enemy, or somebody they think is an enemy but isn't. And that, of course, is because Quixote thought there were giants on the hill and came up to fight them, but all he found was 12 windmills that still stand here today. The novel's so influential that it's mentioned in other very influential novels, including Cyrano de Bergerac, Alexandre Dumas's Three Musketeers, and it gave us the word quixotic, which basically means to be overly dreamy about the world and think that you can change everything just by tilting at windmills. I'm just sitting on one of the props that all the weather vanes rest on. Obviously, when they've restored this place, they must have reused some of the old wood and bits. The new fence, look at these weather vanes. Consuegra is a town in the province of Toledo in central Spain, and it's a particularly notable location with a collection of 12 restored windmills on the Cerro Calderico Ridge alongside a medieval castle. There's no doubt that Cervantes put this tiny community, or comunidad as they say in Spain, of Consuegra on the map. And today each of these windmills is named after a different character in the novel as a nod to Cervantes and Don Quixote himself.
The windmills on Cerro Calderico are a major tourist attraction for fans of Don Quixote, and each one has a unique name referencing characters from the novel. The windmills in Consuegra were crucial for grinding grain due to a lack of consistent water flow in the La Mancha region. These windmills were often passed down through families and were a vital part of the local economy. While these windmills were made famous by Don Quixote, windmills were a common feature on flat plains in Spain, and others still stand in towns such as Alcázar de San Juan, Mota del Cuervo, Campo de Criptana, Jariciana, and many other regions of Spain. The literary connection with Don Quixote has solidified the connection with windmills and Spanish culture.
You can park it in the air, literally in the shadow of the castle. There's the van. And there's this do-upper that Stu's going to buy me.
Consuegra Castle is a Moorish castle built during the medieval period. Entrance to the castle is just €3 per person, or for €4 you can have a joint ticket into the castle and the restored windmill.
Those bloody Arabs coming here, leaving all this culture and history behind.
Rising from the rugged hills of Castilla-La Mancha, Consuegra Castle is a time-worn sentinel watching over the plains below. This imposing fortress dates back to the 10th century, built by the Moors and later conquered by Christian forces during the Reconquista. Perched alongside a ridge of iconic white windmills immortalised in Cervantes' Don Quixote, the castle seems plucked from the pages of legend, but its history is very real. Centuries of siege, conquest and crusade. In the 12th century it was gifted to the Knights Hospitaller, who transformed it into a stronghold of military and religious power. Today, its stone ramparts and towers have been lovingly restored, offering sweeping views over the Manchegan plains. Walk the battlements, descend into the dungeons, and let your imagination wander through 1,000 years of history. The past echoes through every stone. And when the sun begins to set, painting the sky gold and crimson behind the silhouette of the castle and windmills, you'll understand why this place has inspired myths, stories and dreams for generations.
I hope you've enjoyed this journey through history and literature today, from the advent of the first novel right through to today and these windmills that still stand here. But to finish this video, I'm going to bring us back to the present day. I am British, but I travel a lot and I consider myself to be very much European. And the powers that be right now would have you think that Europe and its culture and history is under threat. I hope through these videos that I've shown you that our history is not under threat at all, neither is our culture. Europe is rich with 2,000 years of culture and history. We keep hearing that we're seeing invaders to these lands, and I stand right now on the culture that was left of the invaders in the past, the Moorish Arabs who ruled over this entire peninsula 1,000 years ago, leaving behind the history and culture we enjoy today. So don't you worry about us Europeans. We are basking in culture, we are basking in history, and we are ruined with freedoms. I leave you today with some scenes from this beautiful restored castle, built originally by the Moors or the Arabs, the first invaders of this land who ruled over it 1,000 years ago. Enjoyed by the Spanish for 1,000 years since. Restored by our history and culture today, and enjoyed by me and you right here. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Remember, more unites us than divides us.